come undone. Skin unwinds beneath the sun. Fingers blooming into eyes. Mouths that whisper, spines that writhe. Mirror cracks, reflections crawl. Bones remember every fall. Underneath the flesh and fear, something hungry's waking here. Unmade by my own design, shifting shapes that blur the line. Flesh of canvas, pain the paint. Beauty twisted, pure and faint. Unmade, can't escape the change. Every nerve alive, deranged. Am I monster? Am I free? Or just the sum of my disease? Veins like rivers tangled, split. Heart a swarm that won't quit. Teeth inside my trembling hands. Tongues that ride in scarlet sand. Peel away the gentle mask. Welcome in the twisted task. Growing limbs and memories, buried deep, infecting me. What I've become, a gallery of seams and seams undone. A masterpiece of broken will, redesigning what is real. Unmade by my own design, twisted, beautiful, aligned. Every scream a symphony of morphing, writhing memory. Unmade, there's no going back. Blessed by every bleeding crack. A stranger in my rotting skin. Sweet decay, let change begin. Don't be afraid. We're all unmade. In the stillness of the morning, when the world's asleep, we rise to walk in justice on the promises we keep. Hearts attuned to mercy, hands that reach the lost. We find our strength and kindness, counting up the cost. For every soul that trembles, for every heart in need, we bear the light of heaven, we plant the humble seed. Called to stand, defenders of the weak, bearing truth and mercy with every word we speak. Upright in our living, gentle in our mind, we guard the least among us, shining in the night. When the proud raise their banners and the helpless cry for aid, we lift the broken spirit, unafraid to aid. Fearless in compassion, steady in our prayer, we share the grace that saved us and tender toward despair. For every child in danger, for every worn out soul, we feed the flame of hope, and Christ will make us whole. Called to stand, defenders of the weak, bearing truth and mercy with every word we speak. Upright in our living, gentle in our mind, we guard the least among us, shining in the night. Let our feet be swift to comfort, let our hands be instruments of peace, let our lips speak words of healing, let our love never cease. By our patience and our service, by the faith within our hearts, we reflect our Father's glory in doing our small part. When temptation with lies leads us down a thorny path, we cling to grace unending, anchored by His steadfast wrath. In humility we falter, but
awake to cold steel and darkness on an abandoned train, alone. Heart pounding after panic's attack, stranded in the unknown. Neon lights flicker on blood-splattered walls, reality frays at the seam. Fleshy tendrils crawl where there once were doors. Is this a fever dream? Shadows twitch in the corners, whispers echo like a distant scream. Each step down the empty aisle feels like walking through someone else's dream. Lost in the gloom, on the edge of doom, I refuse to let it consume me. This purgatory of guilt won't be my doom. I fight the fate it looms for me. Nightmares surround, but I carry a voice calling me through the black. I won't surrender to the darkness inside. I'll find my way back. Off the rails, I stagger into corridors where the world has come undone. A hospital ward stretches empty and rotten, its hall stained with what I've done. In the flickering gloom of an abandoned precinct, I hear chains rattle and clang. Sirens long silent still ring in my ears from guilt's relentless pang. Through a crumbling schoolyard under a blood-red sky, innocence lies in decay. Even mannequin faces seem to watch and judge me as I pray not to fade away. Then Jill appears in the haze, eyes burning with fury to make me atone. Her rage ignites these halls around us, reflecting fires I once had sown. Silent Freya stands with phone in hand, an electronic voice plead in despair. Her tears can't fall in this lifeless place, yet her regret hangs in the air. And Carlos stalks these derelict streets, a wicked grin beneath his badge of pride. He revels in this chaos, feeding on fear, hunting the hope we hold inside. Strangers in hell, we cross paths and clash, each one's torment fan in the flame. Lost souls entwined in the gloom's design, each of us shackled by shame. Lost in the gloom, on the edge of doom, I won't let it make me a monster. This infernal maze of trauma and loss will not be my story's conqueror. Faced with your memory guiding me on, I defy the terror and pain. No, I won't crumble, I'll break these walls and see daylight again. I peer into cracked mirrors and finally see the truth in my eyes. Every demon I fought in this nightmare is my own fear in disguise. The gloom was born of my sins, built from secrets I tried to forget. Its corridors writhe with my guilt, every horror a form of my debt. If this world is my making, then I hold the key to its door. I must face what I've buried to heal what was broken before. Forgive me, I whisper to those I've lost, and to the man I became. As the darkness trembles around me, I ignite one last flame. Lost in the gloom, escaping its doom, I feel it
In the desert's crucible, where the sun bleeds red, stands a spectral sovereign whom the light does dread. Albino and ageless, a phantom in the night, he utters axioms that atrophy the soul's light. I am the arbiter, the verdict, the abyss. In my tribunal, no plea can dismiss. War is my doctrine, anarchy my decree. In the ballet of Bedlam, I sow the seed. He delineates the detritus of dynasties past, then dissipates their quintessence to the void's vast. For sapience is supremacy, yet supremacy sours, and in his clutch all inception devours. I am the arbiter, the verdict, the abyss. In my tribunal, no plea can dismiss. War is my doctrine, anarchy my decree. In the ballet of Bedlam, I sow the seed. To the kid, he proffers a pact, gelid and grim. You are my disciple in this chronicle dim. Together we'll navigate the netherworld's name and etch mankind's requiem on history's grave. In the saloon shimmer he seizes the stage, a fiddle's lament like a banshee's rage. He capers unclad, a macabre display, a portent of perdition where night consumes day. Impervious, he persists against temporality's tide, a bastion of belligerence where tempests reside. His mirth, a symphony of sorrow's strain, reverberates through the veins on the spirit's domain. Final arbiter, the verdict, the abyss. In my tribunal, no plea can dismiss. When the cosmos collapses and stars are but dust,
I am here. I'm here. Okay. Hold on just a second. I gotta get this camera correct because clearly it's not doing what I expected it to do. Hold on. There we go. Looks correct. I can see myself. And I can see you kind of. If I wasn't looking at a screen, I'd be looking great at you, my friends. Be looking right at you. Alrighty. So today I'm redoing my stream I did on the Cindy Watson's thing because drum roll, it didn't have sound. Of course, because if I'm not making dumb mistakes on why things are not working, I ain't doing it right apparently. So it is going to be on that, and we're gonna try to fix this. We're going to try to have this fixed. So we're hoping that everything's going to go right this time. Oh yes, her name's Diddy. Oh, how could we forget Diddy? So this is not going to be my raw reaction. It's going to be my second reaction to this. I'm just going to see if I have this right on my end. Cause you know what, man, we're not messing around. We're not messing around today. We know the rules. We know what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be giving you entertaining content. And last time when I was just silence, it wasn't entertaining. Oh God. Okay. So we have the VLC, and we're just gonna check to make sure that it plays. No, it's not doing it. Why isn't it playing? Okay. It's see, this is my life, my friends. This is my life. We will this is a VLC player, right? Hold on. Well, that's right.
My name is Diddy. And I'm non-binary. My pronouns are she, they. And I'm queer.
What a gift to be here for who we are, this
It's
clearing of the
not
church.
quite.
Happy Pride to everyone except for my 7 children who have all betrayed me by being straight.
Bringing your kid to a pride parade is like bringing your kid to
All right.
Mardi Gras.
Pride 2025 is here, and the only thing
I
coming out
think-
is corporate bankruptcy.
I think that's good.
Freedom. We're not going anywhere.
Can everyone hear
And
this?
Pride is not just going to be a celebration; it's also going to be a protest.
So
I don't know what to make of this.
yeah, really. We will.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to
No!
hell.
Quiet!
And as per usual,
Quiet. Okay. So I think this is right. I'm not sure. So hold on. I'm just gonna go back to. I'm gonna go to my actual stream, and I'm gonna play it back, and there's gonna be some sound. So okay, I hear it just fine now. All right, cool. So you guys can hear her voice and junk like that. Yes, so we're gonna go back to the very beginning because I have some observations to make that I just picked up. All right, so let's go back to this person. I am Diddy. All right, let's go to Diddy. Let's go to Diddy. She says she's Diddy. Weirdo. Right? Now watch. All right. Hold on. No, not that. Me. Okay. There we go. I'm not really looking at. Okay. I should be not derp. Yeah, I'm not derp. Okay. Cool. We can begin. We can begin the content. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm not a good YouTuber. I'm not a good streamer in general. So you expect like good things not to have mistakes? Not gonna happen, man. I have mistakes. So anyways, on to Diddy.
My name is Diddy.
She is Diddy.
And I'm non-binary.
Sucks. It's like a disease. You just don't want to have it anymore. And she's crying to be just released from it, you know? She's just trapped. She has the 9-binary. It wasn't her fault. She was bit. And it affected her. And this is what her minds become.
My pronouns are she, they.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm queer.
What a gift.
Princess. Princess. Oh no. Well, there we go. You heard it. She is queer. She's non-binary. And her pronouns are she and they. Oh my god. Tragedy. It's so hard.
To be here for who
Now this just pisses me off because this is supposed to be a Christian church.
we are, this queering of the church.
Yeah, you're not gonna queer the church. I'm sorry. It's just not gonna be queer. Good luck. It's just not happening. Sorry.
To everyone except for my 7 children
Yeah, that's right.
who have all betrayed me by being straight.
That's right. Being straight. Oh my gosh. Imagine the horror of being straight. Oh my gosh. We're doing the biological function that we're born with. Oh my gosh. You're not breaking any of the rules for what you were born with.
Bringing your kid to a pride parade is like bringing your kid to Mardi Gras.
Pride 2025 is here, and the only thing coming out is corporate bankruptcy.
Yeah, because, you know, when I think of pride, I always think of corporate bankruptcy.
For freedom, we're not going anywhere, and Pride is not just going to be a celebration; it's also going to be a protest.
A protest. All right, fine. Let them protest.
I don't know what to make of this.
Yeah, I don't either. So this is Sydney Watson. If you're not familiar with her, she is a
Hi.
YouTuber.
My name is Sydney. Welcome
See, she even said it. Except her last name, she didn't say.
back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by Fume. So this is
Yeah, okay. I've already been over this, but like, Fume, don't do this stuff, man. Like, if you're breathing in something into your lungs, it's bad. Just don't breathe things into your lungs. It can be anything. You can be huffing like, I don't know, pixie dust. Not like the drug, but like literal the pixie sticks, you know? The pixie sticks. Like the little sugar sticks. Yeah, like, don't do it. You breathe it in, it's bad for you. Same thing with Fume. Like, you breathe in that weird, like, chemical shit, it's bad for you. Breathing in anything is. You can smoke lettuce, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna get lung cancer. Just don't do it. Stop it. Stop it.
is once again one of those videos that I had a really hard time putting together. Namely because there are so many examples to illustrate my point, and it's a little overwhelming.
There's quite a bit.
It's so hard being asked to pick only my favorite psychos. This video was also quite challenging to edit on account of all of the nudity and inappropriate behavior, which probably makes its own point all by itself. So, you know, be gentle with me. I've done the best I can with the cards I was dealt. I've now seen more naked man butts than I care to admit, and everything I've learned about kink has been against my will. Anyway, now, I don't know about the rest of you, but lately I have noticed a very big swing away, not only from Pride, but the LGBT community in general. Or the movement, I should say.
You know? LGBT. The Spanish community? LGBT. Yeah. That's how you say it in Spanish. LGBT. But you didn't know that.
It seems that there was a huge emphasis placed on this community, and year on year, the movement and its objectives have expanded, giving us huge parades, events, and representation absolutely everywhere.
I don't, you know, also, what the hell is up with this guy? All right, you're watching this, right?
Giving us huge parades, events.
Okay, sure, but that guy is the gayest guy I've ever seen. This guy right here. Holy crap. Look at him.
Absolutely.
He's just like,
everywhere. But Pride
that's
2025 has been
something.
unbelievably lackluster. And
that
what's
is something,
interesting, at least to me, is that the LGBT community in general doesn't even seem to be fighting back. Are the gays fatigued by other gays? Is that what's happening? I'm sure you've all seen online that parades and events all over the place have been cancelled or scaled back. Others have been cancelled for low attendance numbers. Some organizers have
low attendance numbers? No way. You're not kidding.
After major brands pulled their sponsorships, including MasterCard, PepsiCo, Nissan, Citi, DoorDash, just to name a few. Brands didn't bother changing their logos to the Pride flag like they usually would this time of year. Target has all but removed its Pride merchandise from stores after backlash over its trans-orientated items, including tuck-friendly swimsuits. Okay, white liberal women are very upset.
And the tuck-friendly swimsuits too were meant for children. Like, they're like meant for like little kids. It's really messed up. They had like, well, tiny bikinis and like little boys were supposed to tuck their, junk into them. Hide the fact that they're male or something. I don't know. Man, it's just messed up. It's messed up what they do. It's weird. Weird. You're going to hear me say that a lot.
About this one. Happy Pride Month. In my Target that used to have the Pride section, it's now all USA. Yay. It's an American summer.
This woman probably...
Damn straight. It is an American summer. We all celebrated American summer this year. Hell yeah. America. America. It is an American summer. So, yeah. I mean, really, to be honest, the weird Pride section inside Target especially, the only people that really liked it were non-people, like, not LGBT community, like the allies. And it's a really good point, because that stuff didn't sell either, probably. Because, I mean, who would wear that stuff? It's so gaudy and, like, weird. I don't know. I just think it's like, even if I was gay, I would not walk around and be like, hey, everyone, guess what? I'm gay. Hey, you over there. I'm gay. I'm queer. Respect me. I just wouldn't do that, man. It would be, I don't know. I would be embarrassed,
knows approximately 0 gay and lesbian people, and yet she's mad on your behalf.
Yeah, she is.
Some people have pointed out that Google is preoccupied with promoting Father's Day here in the US rather than changing its logo.
Hell yeah, the Father's Day.
The corporate abandonment of Pride has been so severe that even left-wing outlets have been writing screech pieces shouting into the void about how this is all Trump's fault, pointing to his administration forcing the rollback of DEI initiatives.
No. Notice who's writing the article. I'm sorry. I don't know who you are, Io. But, just saying.
His administration forcing the rollback of DEI initiatives. And honestly, maybe that's what a lot of this is about.
I didn't notice that first.
This also has to do with the fact that people, including gay and lesbian individuals themselves, are sick and tired of Pride and what the LGBT movement has become. And as a result,
I love those little beef burritos.
Disillusionment. And as a result of this collective disillusionment happening, I think that we are observing the collapse of a movement in real time. It's almost like when you let things get co-opted by extremists and psycho people, it drives normal people away. Absolutely crazy. That's
no.
Gay and lesbian people who don't make their sexuality their entire personality have become disillusioned with the queer, trans, and gender-obsessed part of the movement, which explains the recent creation of organizations that demand the LGBs divorce the TQ+. I mean, let's be real. Things have probably gone too far when you can't include all the letters in your psycho acronym and instead have to use a plus sign. Sometimes when I make these videos and therefore I have to think about these things a lot, it just occurs to me how unbelievably stupid most things are most of the time. More importantly, if the 2024 election is anything to go by, Americans in general have overwhelmingly shifted away from progressivism, and that change comes with an upheaval in attitudes towards social causes.
I think we have. I mean, we've completely rejected everything. So, yeah. Trump being reelected again? I think most leftist causes need to start to worry a little bit. We'll find out, because guess what? New York just they decided to have a mayor, or he won the primary. A communist Muslim for a mayor. Yeah, that's good. Commies make great mayors. Let all your funds be decided by communists. Woohoo. I don't know.
First time in a long time, polls show a consistent but steady decline in the support for the LGBT++ community.
For the last few
true.
decades, the story of LGBTQ plus rights in America has been one of increasing public support. But now a new survey finds that for the first time in years, there's a slight decline in that support.
And the irony is that this is largely the fault of the Rainbow Mafia themselves. Because the queer activist class that has become the face and voice of this movement has long stopped advocating for rights and freedoms and instead has taken things so far away.
That's absolutely true.
And sanity. And as a result, they have driven this community right off the edge of the cliff. If we have learned nothing else in the last decade, it's that you should probably keep the they-thems out of anything you're trying to do, lest you want to end up in the proverbial ravine with lots of sharp, pointy rocks at the bottom to break your fall. Also, just an aside before we get into this video and I traumatize you with all the examples I found and many things you've probably forgotten about at this point, I just want to make the point that I don't talk a ton here about the trans movement because I've already covered why that imploded in 2 separate videos on this channel recently, which I'll link in the description box. The other thing to note is that all of this nonsense kind of happened all at once, or at least it was evolving all at once, so it's very challenging to lay it out chronologically. I did my best, but yeah, it's sort of all happening at the same time. Please forgive me. I'm doing my best. But do you want to know when we're not doing our best? When we're slaves to a bad habit, which is why today's video is—
oh my gosh! No! 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 No!
As you upper,
no.
give you a free
no.
topper when you order a—
No, no. And if any of you are doing fume, I'm gonna be upset with you. Don't do it. I just told you. You're gonna get freaking cancer. Or you're gonna screw up your lungs. Bronchial tubes. Don't do that shit. It's bad for you. Just don't breathe in shit. Don't do it.
A journey pack. Pride's origins in the United States began in 1969, when gay and lesbian people faced off against police during the Stonewall riots in New York City. A year later, the first Gay Pride Liberation March took place in Manhattan in 1970. The parade's official chant was, "Say it loud, gay is proud." The objective was to—
Why is it— okay, so, once again, I pointed out last time that the LGBT community circled itself around pride, which is like a sin. They're like, yeah, let's pick the chief of all evil, and like, yeah, let's circle around that. Like, why isn't the love community or like something like that? It's literally like the pride community. Like, literally, like throughout the video, I'm just gonna point out times when they're like come out as devils and stuff like that, and be like, look, the horns. They're like literally broadcasting themselves as like cultists and crap like that. They're like all witches. Like, if you see pride people, most of the time they're witches too, on top of it. So it's like, freaking, I don't know. I'm not going to say it because I can get demonetized for saying crap like that.
Destigmatize same-sex attraction, eliminate discriminatory laws, and achieve freedom and societal acceptance without the stigma. Fast forward to the 2000s.
Which you got!
This had been achieved, at least
yes.
in the West. Don't know about the other countries. Then with the passage of same-sex marriage around the globe in the 2000s through to the 2010s, many LGBT people felt that they'd achieved what they set out to do. Acceptance was achieved, and it was time to hang up their hats and go about living their life. But things were starting to go pear-shaped long before this. When I say that, I mean that the seeds of stupidity had already been sown.
Right, they started to get fat.
Trans issues took center stage when Obama included transgender in his June 1.
This man has ruined our country. You have a problem with this country? It's normally Obama's fault. The majority of fault of like things, it's Obama's fault. He was just horrible. And by the way, Bush, he was horrible too. Like, I'm not gonna give any of them props, but he was horrible. And also, like, Romney or McCain, what the frick type of choices are those? Like, I understand why people voted for Obama. I wouldn't have voted for Romney or McCain either. Actually, I voted for Ron Paul. Because Ron Paul would have we would not be in the situation that we are in right now if it wasn't for them. I'm just saying Ron Paul probably would have been a pretty good guy to go by. Just saying. But anyways, we got Trump now, so I guess that's okay. But Obama, man, that guy. So like medical stuff screwed up the medical system. The reason why everyone's complaining about the medical stuff right now is Obama's fault. Obama, he didn't fix it. He screwed it up. He made it worse, 100 times worse, guys. Like I cannot, like, I know I'm talking like as an old man, okay, but there was a time when you could go to the hospital and get things done, and it would be like, oh, your bill is $500. And nowadays, you go to get anything done at the hospital, it's like, oh, you want to stay a night in the hospital? Well, the socks are going to cost you like at least $200. I'm sorry. These are very premium socks. We need to charge you $200. The technology for these socks, it is state of the line. Oh, I can't tell you how socky these socks are. I hate. I mean, we used to have good needles. We could we'd poke them, and we'd poke your arm, and then be like, oh, I didn't even feel that. And then we switched these horrible freaking metal tip things. They're just terrible. And they break. That's another thing. They can break in your arm. What is wrong with you people? No, Obama's not good for this country. Not one bit.
Obama
But we're talking about gay people.
Transgender in his June 1
Well, actually, you know, there's always Michael.
Pride Proclamation. The recognition on a federal level.
He knew it too. See, the reason why he include that, because of Michael. It's all Michael's fault. He started it. He didn't hear about transgender junk before that. And you know what? Transgender people, I feel for you. You used to be able to hide in the shadows until all these weird people started coming out here and acting like a fool.
Signaled a shift away from gay and lesbian rights to broader gender identity issues driven by trans and queer activists. This opened a bigger can of worms than anyone could have possibly imagined, leading us down the path of men in women's spaces, men in women's sports, debates around bathroom access, medically transitioning minors, and performing irreversible, life-altering operations on vulnerable adults. Very good. Not to mention all of that forced neo-pronoun use in government and workplaces and schools. They really love some forced compliance. It was even here that some gay and lesbian people felt that their movement was being co-opted and overshadowed.
They're so scary.
Everything was about the T and later, the nebulous Q+ part of the community. Between 2016 to 2018, the rainbow flag went through a metamorphosis of sorts, getting a makeover with the Philadelphia and Progress Pride flags. There's so many P's in all of this. Adding stripes for non-white people and trans identities.
Yep.
Since then, they've added the intersex symbol, because I guess we gotta have those chromosomal abnormalities in there. And apparently they've also added some feathers recently for Two-Spirit. When I tell you I am tired.
And the other new addition to our flag is the two feathers in the circle, which represent indigenous folks that identify as Two-Spirit. One feather represents feminine identity, one feather represents male identity, and the circle that holds them together represents the unification of both identities.
You can tell it's the one with the penis. That's the one that represents male identities.
This is getting stupid, right? I'm not the only person that thinks this is getting stupid. Anyway, by this time too, LGBTQ+ was ubiquitous in media, policy, and education. The Obama administration in particular had long been using LGBTQ+ in official documents, and media outlets adopted it in style guides by 2017. Somewhere along this road, Canada went even further, rolling out an even more absurd acronym, 2S.
Why is there a little girl? Why is there a little girl? And why is there a person in a wheelchair? None of this makes sense. What the hell is up with that? What is that? What is that? What the? What? You have Father Time sitting over here? What is that? What is that? What is that? I don't know. You look for like a few minutes, you actually look, and it's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. What's about the person in the wheelchair? Congrats, you got in this photo with this thing. I don't even know. Like, I'm sorry if I saw something like that, I would freak out and be like, "You are a freaking alien! Get away from me! Get away from me, you imposter! You're trying to fake being human. There's no way! There's no way you look like that. Like, what is that? What is that? What is that? Get like a beard and like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then there's a little girl. I was just like, I'm kind of here. I'm kind of here. I feel bad for her. I'm sorry you had to go through this. You had to stand next to these things. You know? These days.
LGBTQI+, in official speech.
Look at her face! She's like looking like, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do?
Is another documentation.
There's been a dramatic spike in violence and discrimination.
Look at that. Does that look like a comfortable person? No. No, it does not. And she's standing behind the sun. Goldar. What is that?
And targeting the 2S LGBT.
That is a trans person right here. Like that, yeah, that's a trans person. What is that? What the hell is that?
Community.
Weird shit.
It's a time to celebrate the 2S LGBTQI+ community.
To accelerate social and gender justice for 2S LGBTQI+ people in Canada.
I love watching all the videos where politicians are struggling to say this acronym.
There's a ton of people
stumble
having
over it
issues.
is honestly beautiful to me. That's what you get for being moronic. This expansion wasn't just symbolic. It signaled a broader shift to include niche identities, which led to the rise in the hundreds of sexualities and gender identities we see all over TikTok now, from non-binary to xenogender. And let's not forget GenderWiki. This has always been a fun place. If you
That's so like crazy that there needs to be something
I also
else.
especially love this entry, which is hetero-romantic, which describes individuals who feel romantic attraction to people of a gender different than their own. Within the split attraction model, its sexual orientation equivalent is heterosexual. So it's just straight with extra steps.
To feel special.
Got it.
That just sounds like slavery with extra steps.
Then, because we actually live in hell, polyamory and thruples and other odd relationship dynamics got lumped into the movement and started showing up absolutely everywhere. By 2010, polyamory was highlighted at Pride events with workshops and floats, confusing people who thought that Pride was about same-sex attraction and not some commentary on relationship dynamics.
Of course. The furries. And look, Christian's here. Christian was all the way in this. What the hell is that? Okay, this is the first time I'm actually like, I've taken these pictures and really looked at them. What the hell is that? And there's furries. Of course the furries are involved because furries, you know, they're weird as it is. Christian, that's Christian, clearly. That looks like Christian to me. I don't know. But what? Is that Gerald? From like Louder with Crowder? Is that Gerald in a wig? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Critics, even within the community, started to say that this was too much, too complicated, too far from the original fight.
Hi guys, if you're new here, I'm Dana. I am in a polyamorous throuple with my partners Gabby and Eli.
This makes me feel unsafe. And because of all of the insanity coming out of the movie,
I bet you there's a lot of abuse that goes on. Like, I can just see her smacking the shit out of him and be like, listen here. I wanted butter on top of my food. Give me extra butter. I can just see it. Actually, she'd be responsible. She would not say butter. No, she'd say margarine. Margarine. On top of her food. But she called it butter. It's actually called butter.
Movement. By 2022, groups like the LGBT Alliance.
They're all women. Well, unless that thing is, I don't know what she is. It is.
Were pushing to separate the LGB from the T and the Q+, arguing that the community was
they're lesbians, of course.
People. Once again, when your acronym needs a plus sign, maybe it's trying to do too much. Now, all of this on its own was incredibly bizarre, and people were already starting to feel very fatigued, especially considering that the LGBTQIAXYZ community and agenda was showing up absolutely everywhere, in politics, in the cultural space, in the social space. But then there was the push to get kids involved, and this, just like with the trans movement, was where a bunch of people noped out. All you ever have to do is leave the kids alone. It's not that hard. In the mid-2010s, Drag Queen Story Hour started in...
Okay, this is where, once again, this is where the witch crew comes in.
San Francisco, with drag queens reading...
I knew this was coming up. That's why I said it. Look at that. That right there? You can't tell me those aren't devil horns. No, in her face, yeah, she's dressed like a demon. Come on. And also mention those tats and stuff like that. And I do believe that he turned out to be a sex offender, this guy. And there's all kinds of children. What is this guy doing? What is that? Because I hope that's a little kid, but I sure don't think so with that touch of gray. That touch of gray on there. That is not a kid. That is an adult. Now, I'm not sure what type of adult, but I sure as hell hope it's not a father.
To children in libraries. This led to an almost immediate backlash. No surprises there. Critics did not see this as an expression of tolerance and inclusivity, but adults in provocative outfits pushing adult themes onto kids. It also didn't help that you didn't see drag queens showing up at retirement homes or homeless shelters. They only wanted the kiddies.
That's right. The drag queens only showed up at kids' parties and junk like that. Kind of like clowns. Clowns only show up at kids' parties normally. Nobody gets a clown for like an adult. They're like clowns. It's terrible. Gotta get rid of them.
Drag Queen Story Hour had a multitude of problems outside of the obvious. Many performers were not properly vetted, as some had previous criminal convictions for fan of the playground behavior. Then from Drag Queen Story Hour came the idea that it was fine overall to have drag queens performing for children, which led to wholesale, borderline stripper-esque performances in front of kids and their families. Some videos went viral where children were encouraged to give money to the men while they danced.
Chicago now at the center of controversy once again. Critics are tearing into a drag story time for toddlers held at a public library. Protesters on both sides of the issue clashing outside as leaders refuse to cancel the event. The library says it's all about inclusion.
Nervous?
Yes.
Okay, watch this kid. This kid is freaked out. You can even see in his look right there. He is freaked out. He does not want... And this kid right here, he's like, what the hell? What's going on?
How come? Do I look scary?
See? That kid is terrified. It's not like, yeah, you look scary. Like, get away from me. You're freaking creepy. That's like the type of look you give somebody when you're like, I don't want to be stabbed, so I'm happy. I'm acting like nothing's bad around this. But yeah, you're freaking me out. Get away from me.
You know what I am? No. I'm a drag queen.
If a drag queen wants to read you a story at a library, listen to her, because knowledge is power. And if someone tries to restrict your access to power, they are trying to scare you.
This right here is the garden and Adam and Eve, the garden. It's totally the vernacular right there he's using. He's using knowledge as power. What he's referring to is having the knowledge of good and evil, right? But see, Adam and Eve had the knowledge of good. They've already had the knowledge of good. All they had to gain was the knowledge of evil. The knowledge of evil would ruin their lives. And that's the same thing with these kids. These kids already know good things, you know, parents, at least I hope so. And you know what? I'm not going to say that anymore because parents kind of suck today. So they could be having shown all kinds of evil. But they don't need help being shown the evils of the world with kids, you know?
No. Then all of this started showing up in schools and school curriculums all across the Western world.
Yep, it's true.
Although, unfortunately, in a lot of ways, this does sometimes feel like a uniquely American, Canadian, Australian, English problem.
It's not. I have friends from Chile and from South America and stuff like that, and they all go through it too. Actually, I'm really shocked at that. And apparently those parts of the world have just like literally accepted it completely. And it's like, what? And a lot of that world is Catholic. And so I'm like, it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind.
Don't know why we've collectively lost our minds. By 2018, education institutions were all in on drag queens and gender identity. California mandated LGBTQ plus history lessons, and TikTok blew up with teachers showing off pride flags or pronoun lessons in classrooms. And of course, we all remember the photos of the gingerbread person and the gender unicorn. This makes me feel like Derek in Zoolander. Gingerbread man! Man!
Merman. Merman!
Soon, some states were trying to pass legislation that would interfere with parents who didn't let their children transition, and empowered teachers to withhold information like this from parents. In 2024,
I love how they're all like tried rapping and stuff like that, looking cool. Like, teachers, you're teachers. You're not cool. No one thinks you're cool. Go home, please. Stop. No one thinks that's cool. No one thinks any of that's cool. As a matter of fact, I think the best thing for the Christian community is teachers going completely against Christianity. You've made us into rock stars. I'm telling you. As Christians, I'm sorry. It's hip to be cool. I'm joking. God damn, I'm joking.
California banned school policies requiring parental notification if a student changed their gender identity, name, pronouns, arguing it protects the child's privacy.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. And it's just a bunch of crap. You know, they tried to hide from parents about their kids being transitioned. And like literally their kids were transitioning in school and they were like taking hormone blockers in secret. Like, that's fucked up.
If you're an educator in the classroom and you're not willing to teach inclusive content, then you shouldn't be an educator.
So I'm not allowed to be out as trans non-binary at school.
This person's completely mentally stable.
Do not come up in my comments saying that I am allowed, because I'm not. I live in Louisiana and it sucks here. So of course my response to this is to be as obnoxiously queer as possible.
So if you can't teach it, you're just going to be doing that, flaunting it in public spaces. Like, no. It's like, if I was straight, I am straight, I guess. I'm straight. I don't know. Like, how do I rephrase that sentence? I have no clue how to phrase that sentence I was going to say. But anyways, I'm like at a school, right? And I'm like, I'm trying to prove that I'm straight. And so like, I'm sitting there talking about being straight all the time. I'm like, yeah, I screwed my wife last night. I'm going to tell you all about it, kids. And like, you start detailing it out and be like, at what point is that like, just like wrong and messed up? Right? Like, that's just messed up.
This is kind of an issue unto itself, given how many teachers like to publicly on social media tell on themselves, especially with relation to encouraging their students to transition, or, you know, that they could be a boy or a girl, whatever it is. There's a lot of those videos out there. It's kind of upsetting. Your job is to teach English, Seth. Worry less about your students' genitals. Then there were the battles happening with relation to LGBTQIA XYZ books in school libraries. Books that sometimes depicted adult acts and other inappropriate themes and content, particularly for elementary-aged young people. In Australia, we call this primary school.
And now the details. Librarians at the Central Bucks School District have been ordered to remove 2 titles from library shelves. Both books deal with
I'm sorry, this guy sounds like he needs to burp, and like he just hasn't done it, but it's still in his throat.
LGBTQ issues, and it's the first book ban under a controversial new policy passed earlier this year.
Parents railed against this, saying that they didn't want their children having access to what essentially rhymes with corn, if you know what I mean. Activists argued that this was bigotry and narrow-minded. Nope, just don't think 7-year-olds should see men giving other men the old, you know, sucker fish treatment.
So Pride Puppy was the book that was used for the pre-kindergarten curriculum. That's no longer in the curriculum.
That's the one where they are supposed to.
By the way, we had a military general of our military in a puppy suit. We had him in a puppy suit and he took pictures. What the hell? And look, there's a little kid. Why the hell is a little kid being exposed to that? Like, what? What? That's messed up.
To look for the leather and things and bondage, things like that.
It's not bondage. It's a woman in a leather.
Sex worker, right?
No.
No?
That's not correct. No.
I read it.
It's a drag queen.
Drag queen and drag
correct.
queen.
The leather that they're pointing to is a woman in a leather jacket. And one of the words is drag queen in the search.
And they're supposed to look for those.
It is an option at the end of the book, correct?
Yeah, okay.
This is not kid-friendly at all. Nope,
no.
Not even a little bit. This video is very hard to film. Yeah. Gee willikers, this is probably where all of those accusations of grooming have come.
You know, and later on, I'm going to get angry because later on there's going to be a part to this video that I know is coming up, and I'm telling you, it pisses me off every time I look at it. Just, I don't know, I get viscerally angry.
From people say gee willikers anymore.
Like, I want to tear some of these people apart. Literally. It just pisses me off that they would treat kids like this and that governments and stuff like that around the area would allow it. Like, what the hell is wrong with you people?
Or is that a thing? I hope it's a thing. Around the same time, mainstream kid shows were including LGBT themes in their episodes. Blue's Clues dropped a
Right there. Right there. We have removal scars, I guess. Impectomies.
With drag queens singing about different family dynamics. Let's not forget the little beaver here with the double mastectomy.
Yeah, mastectomy scars.
Scars. The show Ridley Jones introduced a non-binary character.
I don't even know that character's non-binary. Like, what? I don't even know what it is. Cartoon.
And Rubble and Crew added subtle queer themes. Yeah, we see the trans-colored socks here, okay? We see what you're doing. Some online shows were created.
And what is this? What is... You know, I said it last time. I was pissed last time. I'm even more pissed now. Why the heck is Cookie Monster being used for this? Elmo's fruity. I could see him doing this. Even though Elmo shouldn't be used either, because I mean, like, that is a kid's icon. He is a kid, or at least he's supposed to be. I don't know. He's like a 30-year-old kid now or whatever. Elmo should be talking about the number 2. All right? Should be like, there's 2. No. He doesn't look at Cookie Monster. Say, oh my gosh, you have 2 eyes. I don't know. I don't do Elmo impressions. I can't do Elmo impressions. Shut up.
Created with the
Shut up.
purpose of talking to kids about gender identity and the LGBTQ plus agenda.
And look. Of course. What does this person have? Horns. Devil stuff. Because they're into devil worship. I'm telling you.
why are preschool shows teaching gender identity, and why are you telling my little boy that he can be a little girl? Then there was the emphasis on not only drag queens generally, but drag kids. And this, I fear, is where we, yes, went off the edge of the cliff, fell into the ocean, sunk down into Mariana's Trench, and then got eaten by plankton. Or algae? What is at the bottom of Mariana's Trench? The little guy with the light? I'm sorry, I'm not well. In 2022, a Dallas event called Drag the Kids to Pride had children dancing with drag queens while adults tipped them. That is not a sentence I ever thought I would say. In the club's background, there was a neon sign that read, "It's not gonna lick itself." And I know...
And you know what that means, of course. And I know Cindy's gonna make the comment too, but I mean, it's like, come on, man. You know what that means. You know what it means. And no one thought that was, you know, an issue to have that sign lit up. Like, even if that was like a sign there, at least turn it off. You know, while the kids are there.
That you guys are clever enough to understand what that means. So, yeah, super appropriate. Love this. Years earlier, children like Desmond is Amazing and Nemus Gold caused a...
Wait.
Yeah, super appropriate. Love this. Years earlier...
Why is he wearing Mickey Mouse ears that are fleshed out? That's gross.
Earlier, children...
I don't know why, but something about that feels really weird to me.
Like Desmond is Amazing and Nemus Gold caused a stir after both children appeared in numerous videos performing for adults. People online were extremely upset about both kids, particularly after Desmond is Amazing was filmed doing drag for adults in a bar setting with the...
We also did ketamine. Yeah. That's the thing.
Adults throwing money at him during the performance. So there was this song that my dad used to make us listen to when I was a kid, and the lyrics were, "Rip, rip, wood chip, turn them into paper." And somehow I just thought of that and was reminded of it, talking about these men throwing, you know, dollar bills at little boys. And I don't know, I feel like that's poignant and applicable, if you catch my drift. I want to force them into the wood chipper head first.
I would define myself as an inspirational drag kid, but if I had one word, I think it'd be amazing.
Back in
the sad part too is Desmond, you know, the little boy, he is amazing. But it's not because he's trans or whatever he is, drag queen, whatever he performs. I'm sure that one day he will be an amazing kid and he'll grow up to be the amazing adult. But the people that are around him that are pushing him towards this direction, it's horrible. You should be ashamed of yourselves. All of you should be ashamed of yourselves. And we need to protect kids from people like them. You know, the reason why the whole groomer thing came about was because of seeing shit like this. And it's like they're constantly going after kids. And it's so messed up. It's messed up.
In 2019, the magazine Huck also highlighted Nemus Gold and his journey as a child drag queen. The accompanying photos with the spread were a bit grim for many readers. I'm not going to include them.
Yeah, Queen Lactatia. Like, everyone knows that means lactation. Like, you're playing off of lactation, which is a thing that girls do. It's so messed up. Specifically mothers.
Because it's kid and it's a bit weird. Anyway, these are just two children. Soon we had shows like Kids in Drag that documented young boys participating in a drag competition, or Generation Drag, produced by Tyra Banks, which featured 12 to 17-year-old kids preparing for a drag ball. Whatever that means. And I mean, like, speaking of shows, over the years we've had all sorts of these things that highlight trans children or babies or non-binary 3-year-olds. I'm not sure what's worse or if there is a worse, but eventually all of this culminated in people calling to have children at Pride around kink, and the promotion of kink at Pride in general. Some of you might remember a particularly notorious New York Times article published in 2021 where a mother argued that she wanted her child at Pride around the inappropriate behavior because it was part of the community. And seemingly, a lot of other people agreed, because then we had an onslaught of videos and images popping up year on year, showing children with naked adults, looking at those in fetish gear, watching people...
Once again, why? Why? What even is that?
Simulate adult acts on one another, while little humans watched on wide-eyed. Why is this a thing?
I'm just going to ask you a few questions real quick. So, what is going on with you being naked? I mean, is there something
it's
wrong
legal
with
here.
You? Or, no,
It's legal here to be naked. No indecent exposure, no nothing. These people just walk around naked. Oh, it's legal here. Oh, maybe that's why we hate pride parades and we don't like gay people. Maybe that's why. Because you're running around naked. Nobody wants to see you naked. Nobody wants to see you naked. And if people do it in your freaking room. Like, whatever. Be gay. Whatever. I don't agree with it. Like, but if you're going to be gay and like run around naked and shit like that, or bi, or whatever you're going to do, you're going to run around naked and all that shit. Just do it in a freaking room, like where no one else can see you.
I know it's legal here, but you got kids all around you, and I noticed I've been sitting across the way reporting on the event, and every single time kids walk by, you're enthusiastically waving at them, trying to get their attention.
In case you're wondering why so many people are starting to no longer celebrate Pride, I will show you exactly why. Because when you go to a Pride parade in New York, you see a child right next to a topless woman who looks so excited to be there. If this were a straight man on any other month or even day of the year, this person would be charged and put on the sex offender list. I don't understand the double standard here, because this is the same exact thing.
Nope, because guess what? The guy that was the previous clip that was naked, yeah, he was doing it in front of kids too.
Stop using Pride as an excuse to get naked around children.
Howdy, my name's Lily. I'm an adult human female.
Thank you.
And I just want you to know that children do not belong at Pride events. I, as a lesbian, and an elder gay, and I'm here to let you know from the community.
Elder gay. Kind of funny.
That is the most perverted, disgusting event ever. It is not what it was decades ago.
It didn't help that Pride organizers like Pittsburgh's in 2022 insisted on youth zones to support queer kids. But when parades included suggestive costumes or kink displays like leather floats or pup play dog mask men, which popped up in San Francisco in 2022 and honestly other years, people started questioning why kids were there at all. And the messaging around it didn't help at all. In 2021, the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus released a song with the line, "We're coming for your children," which they argued was satire. But it didn't really matter, given that this was basically a PR design.
It's not satire. It's not satire. Satire, you can tell is satire. This, you can't tell is satire. So it's not satire.
Disaster, with many people arguing this group was finally saying the quiet part out loud.
They are.
The degeneracy had well and truly been associated at this point with the movement. There was no undoing that. And taking kids out of the equation didn't help to restore the community's image.
See,
Pride events...
Did you just see that in that last clip? That guy
out of the equation didn't help to restore the community.
Flash kids.
Community's image.
No one's reacting to them flashing kids.
Pride events had.
What the hell is wrong with people? Like, what is wrong with people? Like, every one of those women in there, those moms, should have had their kids taken away. It should have been like, nope, you're allowing your kids to be exposed.
Turned into an exercise in depravity, with kink, fetish, nudity, lewd acts taking place in person, in real
ridiculous,
life, in front of other people. And a decent portion of gay and lesbian people abhorred this and refused to participate.
What, like, once again, what is that? Also, by the way, cultural appropriation. Japanese fan, yeah, you're a cultural appropriator. Let's throw him, like, off the ship and let him get attacked or whatever.
While others cheered it on. I found so many articles like why kink, BDSM, and leather should.
Also, they're wearing crowns. There's no kings. I thought we knew this. There's no kings. Right? That's what the left was telling us this past month. No kings? Oh, that went a long way.
Be included at Pride and keep Pride nude, which both essentially argue that fetish is an expression of queer culture and sexuality, and criticisms of these are.
You know what? It is. Because you know what? Queer culture should be nowhere around kids. Period. They should know about it.
Racist and bad for children. I'm not joking. They make the claim that this is racist and harmful to children. I think we have different perceptions of harm to children. Is there a way that we can just put people who think like this on a ship and then send them to Jupiter? I would like that. I support that. On top of all of this insanity, there were the very, very public scandals. In 2022, Sam Brinton, a non-binary.
This guy I can't stand. Which is also probably some type of witch. So I don't need proof of that one. But I don't know. He's weird. That's maybe Anton LaVey.
Biden official was caught stealing women's luggage from the airport and then wearing it in photos online. In 2023, a Senate staffer made an adult tape in a Senate office building. The individual who was involved showed zero remorse after the fact, telling New York Magazine that he didn't regret what he did. And given how boring his job was, he was only finding a way to entertain himself.
Which, by the way, Doge did a good job firing all these different freaks, because if you have to have sex to pass the time, then clearly you don't need a job. If you need to have sex to pass the time at your job, you don't need to work there. Because your job doesn't exist. You're not doing anything. So if you're not doing anything, why not just get rid of him? And that's exactly what Doge did. Great job, Doge. Yay.
And let's not forget the 2022 attempts, while fringe, to normalize MAPS, or fans of the playground, with some groups arguing that this was just as much a sexuality as same-sex attraction. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think this same push came from the bestiality crowd and the men who want to dress as little girls and be in diapers and things. And actually furries. I'm sure that furries fit in here somewhere.
Furries totally fit in.
Children who started identifying as cats and birds and fish and whatnot. That's probably the furries' fault. I'm gonna blame the furries. Let's also not forget that in response to all of this, and
everyone blame the furries,
pushing back against the indoctrination in schools and these drag kids and these drag events and what have you, there were always the LGBT plus protesters who turned up to clash with the people saying, no, please don't do this to our children. You don't have to look far at all to find video evidence and articles and whatnot about these clashes, which unfortunately I can't show you on YouTube. I would love to, but I can't. Anyway, I could continue listing examples, and honestly worse examples that aren't YouTube friendly, because there are a lot of them. But regardless of how many of these I show you, the point here is that this has led to the very aggressive and sharp turn away from the LGBT movement, the community, and pride.
Completely.
See, I don't think that your average person actually cares if somebody is gay or straight or a bag of turnips. Nope. I think what they care about is having these ideas and concepts and things shoved down their throat. I think people are fatigued, especially with the trans movement, especially with the gender ideology movement, with this queer activism that we're seeing everywhere, and I think your average person just wants to be left in peace. The irony for me is that plenty of gay and lesbian people who I either know personally or have seen online are so disillusioned with this movement and this community that they themselves have completely separated. These are people who do not feel represented by the corporatization of pride, nor the degeneracy and depravity that goes along with all of this. The activists who have pushed for all of this have created a rigid resistance to all things associated with the rainbow flag, and ironically, their efforts to force acceptance have only created more derision, given they associated their community with some pretty pretty gross things. It also doesn't help that these activist types take to social media and gloat about making others uncomfortable or upset with their antics. Similar to the point that I made about the collapse of the trans movement, people are so sick of the zealotry coming out of this community. They are tired of walking on eggshells lest they be accused of homophobia or one of the other 5 bajillion phobias. They are tired of being berated for not celebrating or backing a movement that has gotten progressively more and more bizarre and depraved. I think most of us are very fed up with being accused of bigotry when we ask that children be left alone and pride be less inappropriate and sexualized. So when you put all of this together and more, all the things that I haven't mentioned in this video, it's really not surprising why some people are reneging their support and the people who were largely indifferent are starting to actively dislike this movement and this community. Color me crazy, but when you watch enough videos of children giving money to drag queens or shoving money into their clothing as they perform, or little kids interacting with men in puppy play fetish masks and whatnot out in public, it's probably enough to sour one's opinion of not only the community, but just pride in general. So while progressives scream very loudly about homophobia being the primary root reason why people are moving away and getting off of Rainbow Road, your average person has stopped listening and stopped caring. Because
it's completely
when you make everything about weird, gross sex stuff, no one wants to hang out with you. Imagine that. The gross public behavior, the emphasis on the trans, queer, gender ideological portion of all of this, the going after children has only really accelerated people getting very fatigued with all of this. And in the end, I am very curious to see if this will lead to a toning down of the events and parades and what have you with relation to Pride, or if this will lead to the activist class doubling down and getting even more aggressive and more obnoxious.
I think they're going to get more aggressive.
Now on that note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder to check out Fume using the link in the description.
All right, that's it from here. Hey, Zaroon? Zayu? Tyler? How's it going? Well, that is that. So, I will start up. We'll play a little Dark Tide. We'll do that to finish up this evening. Play like 1 or 2 missions. Dark Tide. And then I'm gonna go to bed. I'm tired. There we go. Let's see. Okay, so we got the screens all fixed up. All right. Okay. Yeah, we'll do 1 or 2 missions. It depends on how many people show up, and how many people are watching. Yeah. So, how is everyone today? Been a while. I'm not sure what we're gonna do for tomorrow. We'll do something though.
Soldiers of the Blessed Emperor, I am Hestia Prime, a daughter of Messalina and representative of the Holy Inquisition. It is my solemn duty to stand in witness to your deeds and to record the penances you undertake. History shall remember the martyrs who fell in Atoma's defense. May Saint Messalina walk ever beside you in the Emperor's light. Though it take a lifetime of blood and strife, Atoma shall be free. Tell me, what penances have you undertaken lately?
Ones do we need to complete still? Arbitrator, huh?
You are my inspiration.
Half of our port-side thrusters are no longer responding.
I will seek remedy in...
Some good stuff here. Come check it out.
Oh, hey, you can spend money buying clothing that isn't. Really? Just. Oh, okay. It's not stuff that you can put on your guy.
Easy.
Not this guy, at least.
I've got.
Okay. Let's go. Dude, yeah, there we go. Check it out.
Do you require an additional purchase?
Nope. Don't think so. I lied.
Purchase authorized.
All right, loadout. All right, let's go. We are ready to take on a mission. We're trying to finish the campaign.
You're heading into the torrent. Ranix identified a target that wants eliminating. The target's turned an enforcer station into a private bolt hole. Ironic or what? Go in through the sewers, find your way up to the streets, execute the target, don't let me down.
Oh. literally easy as can be.
Get ready for close combat!
There is no way back from here! We won't win this again! Lockdown nearby! How devastating!
All right.
Ammunition is here! Medicaid station may assist. My need was greater. That is the end of it.
Okay, this is your way into the house.
Stop, shotgunner! This should be in the hole!
Ascenders deploying. Stay alive until then.
Shotgun!
This is your last warning! It's a natural talent!
There. How you do it?
I see ammunition!
Kill the trapper!
Ascenders here. Head for the street.
Get ready for close quarters combat!
This will take them!
Get back!
Track them down! The bomber's dead!
I used to live in a block just like this. I'm never going back.
Oh.
Medicaid station! Celerity step! Ice shield! Watch out, hot pound! Trapper
Let's surround it!
like a foundation. Let it crumble.
Shotgunner! Everything is burning! I am very, very alone.
Get back here!
Nuncio Aquila, out and running!
You'll find our sanction redacted targets inside the enforcer station.
Medicare available here! Combat stim! Fuller! Grenade!
Hey! That's not right.
Pace yourself, let's mate. This road is long.
Gonna die!
I like the dog. Very cool that the dog.
We are little more than
defends me.
decoys. Sent to distract, deceive, and die.
Medicaid station!
Initializing. Commence dispensing.
Are we ready to advance? Concentration stim!
There's normally a big horror in here or something like that, you know?
Reading! Activating! Rolling! Medipack!
We're all Batman here! Medipack! Hi ho!
Last guard, get yourself to the elevator. He's waiting for you.
Shut down!
Arbitrator, take the ammunition.
Hold your ground!
Let them come! I am
Ammo, we can use that.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you've been taking your sweet time down there. Reminds you of happy.
No.
Hardly. I'm glad to have put my past behind me.
They always say that. It's never true.
Ammo crate! Nuncio Aquila out!
Keep fighting! Listen up, traitors! Over here! The hour of judgment is at hand!
Sanctuary access target eliminated!
Rannick has already been informed. He only smiled.
Renine!
Is this really how I die?
What the heck? All right. Let me check my numbers. Yeah. All right. Ooh. Got transmission.
It seems that for once, dear Augustine did not exaggerate. There's one arch heretic fewer among the living. May the celebrations begin, etc., etc. I understand that the surviving water cartel have taken the opportunity to remonstrate with the heretics. I do so like a brawl with no winners. But don't even think that you'll be resting on your laurels. You're still scum, but you're useful scum. In fact, I think it's time you introduced yourself to Hadron. I'm sure she's going to simply adore you.
All right. Well, let's see what we got for penances. Okay. Well, this will be good night, my friends. Had a good time. Had a wonderful time. So, yeah. I don't know what we're going to be doing tomorrow, but we'll be doing something and it'll be fun. It'll be cool. It'll be cool. Just not sure what I'm going to react to. Anyways, I'm sure I'll find something fun. See ya! I guess. Remember to like, subscribe, favorite, share with all your friends. Yeah. Alright. Catch you guys later. See ya!